The IAAPA Foundation has this idea of bringing young people to the industry and show them what a wonderful industry it is. Because once you work for this industry, you don't want to work anywhere else because you love it.
We work in truly the most creative and innovative industry in the world. And we impact more people by what we do and what we deliver than most industries even understand.
Welcome back to Experience Imagination. We are so happy to be kicking off season number 9. Can you believe it? We have been at this game since 2018, and we're excited about all the great content we're going to bring you in 2026. We have 2 amazing guests for this first episode of the new year, and a lot of you will know them. We're talking with Jakob Wahl. Some of you might know him as Jakob. He is the president and CEO of IAAPA. And then we're going to talk to Melissa Oviedo, CEO of the Themed Entertainment Association, better known as TEA. Jakob has been working in the themed entertainment industry since his teenage years. He's lived in multiple countries, and now he heads up the Global Association for the Attractions Industry. And that's a fun job. Melissa began her career as a promotions coordinator at Six Flags. Before stepping into her current role at TEA, she served as B. Morrow Productions' Chief Business Officer, and prior to that, she spent 12 years at NASA. Organizations like IAAPA and TEA mean so much to our industry because we use them to navigate challenges we face, and they also help us celebrate the accomplishments this community shares year after year. So let's get started with my conversation with Jakob. Jakob, welcome back to the pod.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I'm excited you're in our new office space.
It's beautiful, actually. It's a creative space, and you feel the energy in the building. It's lovely.
Thanks for saying that. So, well, let's talk about IAAPA. We're recording this in January. IAAPA Expo in Orlando is every November, about mid-November. I'm just curious, what are your key takeaways from that event in 2025? What did you hear? What did you see? What did you love?
I, first of all, had the feeling that it was the smoothest expo can ever remember. We had a very good week. Things went well, and you often don't see that as an exhibitor or as an attendee. I sometimes compare it to the duck. Above water, it's very quiet, but under the water, we pedal like crazy because it is a lot of hard work to bring that together. And this year, the team did an outstanding job in bringing that together. In all fairness, I think what helped us was our friends at Universal, who launched Epic Universe this year, or last year in 2025. We saw many people coming there, and the Thursday night event, IAAPA Celebrates at Epic Universe, which we privatized for that evening, was probably the best event I've ever witnessed.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, we had 4,000 people and Epic Universe for 4 hours privately just for us, including food and drinks, and it was a night to remember, and it was so good that we will repeat it this year. So if you have missed it, you should come back.
Yeah.
We had the largest attendance we ever had.
At IAAPA?
At IAAPA. We saw a huge increase in attendees from North America, especially from the US, and because we saw a decrease in guests from Canada and from overseas.
Oh, okay.
But all in all, I think we had a good week. We have very good feedback from attendees. We have an extreme high NPS. People are happy. Exhibitors were happy. So I think we can look back at a good week.
I'm happy to hear that. FALCON'S had a really good location.
That's good.
We were like right off the escalator. So many people stopped by. Our booth was probably the busiest booth that
you had a good show.
We had a really good show. Yeah, a lot of meetings. It was just jam-packed. And a lot of students too. Curious about what we do. And I talked to a lot of them about it. So
that's good.
Well, we talked about the challenges just a little bit, even at the top, but the global attractions industry has seen its fair share of challenges for a lot of reasons. Coming out of COVID, there are a lot of things to deal with, a lot of hurdles. But can you talk a little bit about those and then tell us what unique solutions you've seen businesses implement to adapt to these outside forces that, we can't control. We just have to do what we do.
I think when we look back at the 2025 season, what we saw in many aspects were weather conditions, which were very bad in certain areas until the summer. We saw also people being concerned about uncertainty. So how the industry is adjusting, and I think that speaks for the industry, is that we see, I think, more and more indoor offerings to be more weather resistant. And then ultimately what we also see, and it's special events. I have spoken to so many parks where they said, Halloween or Christmas season changed the season from a bad one to a good one.
Okay.
And that continues to drive attendance, guest satisfaction per cap, because people just love to have those special events coming up.
Yeah. You know what I've seen and read a lot more of is pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to experience any pop-ups yourself?
Yeah, there's so many of them, actually.
Yeah.
And you see many attractions coming up. It will be interesting to see how sustainable they are, because how often will people go back and see them?
Mm-hmm.
There's some good and some bad examples. Visual attractions, where you have the idea of some beautiful landscapes, which ultimately is Instagrammable. Ultimately, it is all about, hey, I can take cool pictures, I can share them, and that pops up everywhere. You just saw, Museum of Illusions has a new stakeholder investor, and there is a continued trend in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to see how that will evolve. I personally went to Museum of Ice Cream in Miami, which is also playing in that business.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like a place I'd want to visit.
You haven't?
I have not.
You should. It's a very interesting place. It's very well done. It caters to the simple idea of ice cream, because you get free ice cream all around, and that, who doesn't want to have free ice cream?
Yeah, for sure.
And ultimately it's not free because you pay at the entrance for that, but it is free once you walk through. And then it's just visually strong with all those Instagrammable moments, which people really, really enjoy.
Yeah, well, this is very true. Yeah, so another challenge I've heard about and read about is finding enough people to work in the industry. Mm-hmm. Maybe that has to do with pay. But how is IAAPA helping on that front?
I think it has not only to do with pay, it is also that we live in a period where people care more about their work-life balance, so to say, more about their personal time. And that becomes hard when, one partner in a relationship has a regular weekday job and you work in the industry and you have to work evenings, you have to work holidays, you have to work weekends. And that becomes more unpopular. We are afraid. And this is where we are very strong with the IAAPA Foundation. The IAAPA Foundation has this idea of bringing young people to the industry and show them what a wonderful industry it is. Because I think it's the same here when you walk around this building. Once you work for this industry, you don't want to work anywhere else because you love it. Mm-hmm. But the question is, we need to show them that it's a good industry to work in, that it's a wonderful purpose to actually make people happy, because that's ultimately what we do, and to show them as well that this is an opportunity for careers. When I look around the IAAPA board of directors, I would guess half of them have started as parking instructor or, ice cream salesperson in an amusement park. And all those people have worked their way up. And I think this is what's very special about this industry. So the IAAPA Foundation is doing a lot of work on that and is investing into scholarships for young students to experience the industry and to learn more about the industry, hopefully finding more talent. And we have grown it massively over the past years. The IAAPA board actually has decided to match every contribution with the same amount. So we see more and more being invested into young people to hopefully gain momentum in bringing more people, because ultimately, it's a wonderful industry.
Yeah, start young.
Start young, you can start it. And we also say you often don't need an education. There are many, many young kids which start there. As a 16-year-old one, we educate them, and we train them and they can grow the career ladder. And they're great opportunities within this industry.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad to hear that. It sounds excellent. So tell us about some of the attraction industry's brightest sectors this year. What's going well?
I think the concept of attraction has a very successful presence and a very successful future. The world is not getting less complicated, let's say that. Mm-hmm. So people need that exit. They need to get away from those breaking news. They need to get away from the constant, alert messages. So this is where I think we come into play in distracting our guests. It's this classic idea of escapism, where people just enjoy the time and, very important, the social time. Our past chairman, Massimiliano Freddi, always had in his presentation a slide where it said 71% of the population suffer from loneliness.
Wow.
71%.
That's so high.
And we are actually the recipe against that, because we bring people together to enjoy each other. And I think this is what we see in an office space, but this is also what we see when they create all those attractions, where you ultimately go somewhere and you can enjoy it with family, friends, or colleagues.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we see continued development in this market and where we think the future looks bright. Because as long as we create a relevant product where people can immerse themselves so much that they forget about all the other stuff, we'll be successful.
Yeah, I can't tell you countless times I've been in lines at theme parks, and we wait in long lines for these rides. I have had so many conversations with people that are not in my party. And that's probably one of my favorite parts of visiting because, you get international visitors, you learn a little bit about where they come from and what their background is. That's a lot of fun to me.
The only thing which I would really love to see, but we can't, myself included, we're all addicted to the bloody mobile phones, so to say.
Yes.
And I think they destroy a lot of that because I think while, you walk through beautiful environments, fantastic themed lands, we all become those mobile zombies. And, we look at waiting times and we look at, and chat with people and try to send pictures and all of that and want to know the latest sports result. I would love to have a park where you just get rid of that, and just focus on where you are at that moment. And I just had the incredible pleasure to see Team Lab in Abu Dhabi, which is this iconic visual museum, which they have done there in Saadiyat Island. And even though I had my phone with me, I was focused on the experience and it was just, it was beautiful.
Yeah, we talked about places outside of theme parks. Just themed experiences in general are popping up. And there's more theming like outside of where you would think theming would be, restaurants and retail. And I don't know about you. Have you been to Voodoo Bayou?
No, I haven't.
On Sand
Actually,
Lake?
I want to go.
Yeah, I think there's more than one location, but I've been to the one on Sand Lake, and it's kind of turned into my favorite themed restaurant. So tell us what you've been taking note of, these types of establishments outside of a normal themed entertainment environment.
I think we want to have experiences. We want to have, and this is where you see amusement parks, zoos, water parks, building hotels, but special hotels which you can't find anywhere else because you want to have that special thing. You want to have on the menu, you want to have that, and I'm sorry to say that again, that Instagrammable thing, that food item which looks cool. I think sometimes the looks come before the taste. And I think that is where the human being becomes into this experience person and wants to explore something special. We talked about sport events. You don't go there for the sports anymore. You go there for the entertainment, what they put up on the screens, who's on the kiss cam today, all of that stuff. And I think that is where we see that the concept of entertaining people is getting broader, and the concept of theming is getting broader. Who would have thought that the petrol station becomes an attraction? But think about the people going to Buc-ee's.
Exactly, that's a good example.
Buc-ee's becomes an attraction, and we have a wonderful member in Germany called Carl's Strawberry Farms, and they have now, I think, 9 locations. They're expanding in the US. It came from the fact that people came and picked strawberries. And then they built the first cafe, they built the first shop, they built the first attractions. Now they have 9 parks. They are building a water park, they're building a hotel, just because people, they don't want to just shop strawberries. They want to feel it's an experience. They want to feel it's authentic. They want to understand where's the food coming from. How does it smell? Maybe it's not the real smell. Maybe, it's some technological help, but it's all those aspects to stimulate all senses. And I think that is something which we see not only at Disney and Universal and SeaWorld and Legoland and all those parks, but we also see that in the retail world, in the shopping world, in the food and beverage world, everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to see so much more of that in the future. Well, speaking of entertainment experiences, Saudi Arabia is building massive developments, whole cities, in fact, that will feature top-notch theme parks, attractions. Six Flags, Qiddiya City,
just
opened on December 31st. What is your expectation for visitation in the kingdom as a whole?
I think, for us, and I've been to Saudi Arabia probably 6-7 times now, it is sometimes hard to understand the pace they're going and the dedication and the willingness to invest. And if you look back, probably 20 years, 25 years rather, and when you look where Dubai came from, nobody knew what Dubai was. And they put themselves on the map with the airport, with a 7-star hotel, with a ski dome in the desert. Now you see, you obviously have also Abu Dhabi, which did a similar development, focus on while Dubai did everything pretty much at once, built all the parks. Abu Dhabi did Ferrari World, Warner Brothers, SeaWorld, the museums. And then you see Saudi now being at the beginning of this journey. And when you go there, you feel the hunger for entertainment as well. You think about it, that country is not too long ago, they didn't have cinemas. And now you see cinemas coming up everywhere. And I've had the incredible joy to meet with the General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia and to see what they created with the Boulevard World and those attractions, and how incredibly busy those attractions are. You see how popular they are. And I think it is where sometimes, we have seen people being in doubt about what is happening there, and I think when we saw the first designs about, FALCON'S flight, which is the biggest, tallest, longest coaster in the world, when you saw the first designs of Aquarabia, you were like, I have seen many concepts, like this is not going to happen. And then we went there and it is there and it is open. It is just very, very impressive. And you have to give them respect for that journey. And I think they had a very good first 2 weeks.
Looks that way.
But I'm very curious to see how that further develops because, again, they are at the beginning of a long journey. And I'm very excited to see that.
Well, plus it's almost like you have nothing and then you go from having nothing to like all these types of experiences. Yeah. So now they're going to compete against each other.
Yeah, of course. And you always had very good indoor entertainment there, in the shopping malls. You now see Seven coming into the market. You see Six Flags Qiddiya coming into the market. You see Aquarabia. It will be very interesting to evolve. And ultimately, I think it will make us all better because if this industry is really benefiting from, we always say rising tides lift all boats because we challenge each other. We see things and we say, hey, we should do something like that. And it's great to see that opening and my fullest respect to all those people who have worked on that because I remember some years ago, there was nothing.
Yeah, I know.
To see now those two world-class parks standing there and having guests enjoy them, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you completely off the hook because we have to talk about AI.
Yeah.
It's shaken up almost every industry, including ours. So what innovations have you seen recently that excite you? And how do you think the industry is addressing concerns or fears, as often happens with this kind of technological revolution?
Okay, I have to say first, I'm not a tech guy, but I'm trying to dive into that because AI is so complex, I think, and it's sometimes, I think we're just scratching the surface. To see safety and maintenance systems, I think that is very interesting. To see them being supported by AI, it's very interesting. We see that as well in the ski resort industry, which is a little bit of a neighbor industry to us. You see the first AI-supported operations of ski lifts, which is interesting.
Okay,
and I think that is something which we're going to watch closer. I think ultimately I'm a huge fan of human interaction. And I'm a huge fan of human creativity. And I think, so long as you have those creative minds, sitting next to each other and sharing ideas with each other, I can't imagine technology to be better than that because technology is always based on what technology learned from the past. And I think that is where I'm very curious about what the future brings. It scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the human being in itself is so wonderfully creative and smart that it will be successful. But it's good to be challenged by technology.
Yeah. What do you think operators are most concerned with and most excited about as we begin the new year?
I think when we look back in 2025, I think the concerns about extreme weather will not become less.
Yeah.
But it is a fact that I think we have to deal with more extreme weather conditions, more heat, more storms. When you look, and I'm European, so I can only judge that from us, you see changing patterns in tourism travel. You see, they call it coolcation. So while in summertime, southern Spain and southern France was very popular, it becomes too hot for the people now.
Okay.
So instead they go to Scandinavia. So what does that mean for the attraction in southern France, southern Italy? What does it mean for the attraction in Scandinavia? There are trends which we can influence and there are trends which we cannot influence. And I think that is something which is very interesting. And we come back to the same aspect of how does the world evolve from a factor which we cannot influence. So this means geopolitical, this means pricing. When you look at last year, there were the headlines that people from the US traveled to Europe to visit Taylor Swift because it was cheaper to fly to Europe to go to a concert there than going to a Taylor Swift concert in the US.
That's insane.
So what does that mean for visitor flows, for guest flows? And what does it mean for attractions that, you have in Dubai or Abu Dhabi 400,000 people a year moving from other countries to that country, and it's people from Western countries. So that purchase power walks away. So we have demographic changes, we have demographic movements, we have political changes, which I think have a heavy impact on our industry. So that's definitely something which is something to watch for, which we can hardly influence, but keeps us on our toes to be strong about the product and to make sure that our product is so relevant that people want to come, want to see it, and want to come back. And I think that is something where the industry is actually very, very strong working on that. And this is where, coming back to what we described, walking over the IAAPA Expo show floor, seeing all those innovations, seeing what is created, seeing the excitement of the vendors and the excitement of the operators to invest into those installations and build things like this, to have the guts to build something like Aquarabia, to have something like, 6 Qiddiya, and you just can name everything. See what Legoland is building, see what Dollywood is building, see what, the water parks are investing, see where you see new museums of installations here in Orlando, what Icon Park is investing, the largest Build-A-Bear workshop in the world, I think.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, me too. I know that. And just that excitement, because while we have those challenges coming in from around the world, we are often the solution, because we give people distraction, we give people fun, and we actually have all the means to give them a good time to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, well, the distraction part is key, because that's going to be more and more common. Looking for distractions.
I'm not
from
sure
the real world,
and I'm not sure if you see it, but there's so many. If you saw it, there's so many nice stories out there.
Yeah.
Look at the IAAPA show floor. I hope you have seen the Zamperla ride, and I hope it's okay to mention them. But to create such a simple ride where people flap with their arms, and the more you flap, the higher you go up, and such a ride which is accessible for everyone. You can sit in a wheelchair, you can have special needs, but which everybody can enjoy. I think if we're able to continue to deliver such experiences for everybody, we will be successful.
I agree with that. Yeah. I can't let you go without asking about Epic Universe.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts?
First of all, I have to give my whole respect to the whole team at Universal Destinations and Experiences to pull off such a project. We talked about it. You got to be brave and need to have guts to invest such an amount into such a project, to work so dedicated throughout COVID in making something like this happen. So, my deepest respect. Then you have some of the best theming I've seen. When you go in there into the Harry Potter land at night, or when you go into the How to Train Your Dragon, land in the evening and see all the lights, it's unbelievable. Then also fantastic attractions, fantastic rides, fantastic shows.
Right.
Sometimes we focus a little bit too much on the rides, but both shows there are amazing.
Yes, I agree.
Really, really impressive. And then also what I think is sometimes not getting the credits it deserves is Universal's bold move of going above and beyond in the food and beverage offer. Because, I think they have really stepped up in creating dedicated food in the dedicated areas. You get to experience something which you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And this is where we come back to our discussion. Offer something which you can't get anywhere. Make it an experience. And the food there is definitely part of the experience.
Yeah. I went through a couple times bringing friends and family, and of course I indulged in the food, and it was very good.
It is very good. And it's unique. And I think that makes a difference. You can only get it there.
So how many people are at IAAPA? Work there?
We have 120 people around the world.
120, okay.
Yeah.
How many people work on the expos? Is that their full-time job, just to work on these expos?
I would turn it around a little bit. I would say each one of the 120 people works on membership. Because what is the expo? Of course, the expo is a platform, is a framework for companies to sell their services and products, and for buyers to come in. But for us, it is a platform where we become alive as an association. So, for us, everybody in this building is building a relationship with a member, with an exhibitor, with a vendor, and making sure that they get benefit from that. And I think that is something where I might be a little bit romantic, but I'm very proud that we're an organization, we're an association. So there's no one who's squeezing out the money to buy the new yacht or to buy the new home. It ultimately all feeds back into the association. And I'll give you one example. I was yesterday at the AIMS conference here, where our director of safety and security did a presentation about a fatal accident some years ago in a North American park. And she got together everybody involved, from the management, from the lawyers, did a 50-minute presentation about all aspects of what happened there, and that is something where ultimately we thrive as an association, because we bring people together, that something like this never happens again, or that we inspire other people on becoming better. And this actually happens at the trade shows massively in all the education program and bringing people together. I hardly see the trade show floor, because most of my job is having meetings and bringing those people together who could benefit from each other. Mm-hmm. And I think this is where I say everybody works for membership, but in the end, probably I would say everybody in this building has also something to do with the expos as well, because we have now 4 expos around the world. Mm-hmm. They take a huge chunk of work.
So how do you want to let our listeners know how to reach out to IAAPA, get a hold of you or a member of your staff?
We are super easily accessible. Please, my phone number is 689-242-1614. You can call me, you can text me. Whatever there is, we can help to assist you in this business. We're happy to do that. We really care for each of the members here in this business. Send us an email, write to us on LinkedIn, and please don't be shy of asking any questions. It's still surprising. We saw a member last year who has been a member for 100 years. And then we always ask, what can we do for you? And he said, we had some issues with the ride, but I don't think you can do anything for us. I said, of course, exactly. This is what we're there for. He would have never asked us to help him. And this is where I just encourage everybody. The team, those 120 people, they might not always know immediately the response, but we have 9,500 members around the world. We know somebody who can help you.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, that's probably the first time that I've been hosting the podcast that somebody volunteered their phone number. So I'm trying not to laugh, but I appreciate that.
We're here to service our members. And I actually learned it. I have to give credit, because Jim Patterson, our chairman, 2 years ago did that on the stage of IAAPA Expo at the opening.
Really?
He put it on the screen and said, here's my phone number. If you need anything, call me.
Did he get a lot of calls?
He said it was okay. Because I think, people are respectful, and people call you when you can help, and this industry is wonderful. And, I don't think somebody will call me tomorrow and try to sell their car. But if there's anything we can do to support, that's ultimately what we're there for as an association.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time, Jakob.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations to everything you do, because it's wonderful to travel the world, Aqua Arabia now, and see the work of FALCON'S.
Yeah, we can't wait for that to open.
Same here. See you on the slide.
All right. Well, I'm here with Melissa Oviedo now. Hey there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great start to the new year so far, and super excited to be here.
Okay, yeah. Well, many of our listeners know all about TEA, but if somebody who's listening is not as aware of what the association does, can you talk to them about that?
Yeah, of course. So the TEA is really the Creator and Maker Association for the design and to the delivery of the world-class attractions, experiences, destinations around the world. So we represent the creative community that goes from concept design all the way through the delivery of those attractions, all the way up until opening day. So whether you're a designer or you're a master planner, you're a feasibility expert, you're an engineer, a technologist, a fabricator, constructor, that all is represented within the TEA community.
That's so cool.
It's super fun. Yeah.
All right. So you previously served as the international board president, right? Of
I did.
TEA. Did I get that right? And you held other volunteer positions on the TEA boards as well. How did those experiences prepare you for your current role as CEO?
TEA is kind of structured in the sense where a lot of our efforts are driven by our volunteer leadership, whether they're division boards or whether they're the international board. I got my start really on the division side by working different events and running check-in desk to really get to know who the members were, and then stepped up through leadership in that capacity. So I served as the Eastern North America division president in 2017 and 18. And then in the role of international board, the international board is really around setting the strategy. setting where the industry, the creative development industry is going. You get to do the things that you've wanted to do for a very long time. And you get to really be a champion and a voice for where the industry is going. So it's an incredibly exciting role for me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We're 8 people strong. I came in as CEO just in January, and a lot of the team was brand new. They hadn't done some of our signature programs before. And it's really hard as you're running the business or changing the business or evolving the association while still having to deliver it at an exceptional level on a day-to-day basis. It's hard stuff. And it's without this team, it's absolutely not possible. So I just want to call attention to that, to the grit, to the effort, to the passion that they put into it every single day. We obviously love our volunteer leadership. We cannot do this without our volunteer leadership, our division boards, our international boards, our task forces, our committees, our councils. I think our volunteer leadership is over 200 people, which is incredible.
That's a lot. I understand a couple of our Falcons recently stepped into TEA leadership positions. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, they did. So both Marlene and Kara recently were elected to our Eastern North America Division Board. So we're very excited about both of their participations and just want to thank Falcons for their support of that initiative. Becoming a volunteer leader for the TEA, in particular on the division, which I shared with the division boards just today, I believe is one of the hardest jobs in the association to do.
Our association with TEA goes back a while, and I know you and Cecil go back a few years.
We do. And we're super excited. Falcons is getting even more engaged over this next year, and for Cecil to agree to be part of our amazing State of the Industry panel, which will be taking place at the Inspire conference. So that's breaking news for everybody.
Nice.
But we're excited. We really feel Falcons is really telling a story of what's emerging and how you do business in this industry. And we're excited to hear his perspective on that stage.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the last time you were on the pod. Was November of 2023.
Yeah.
So talk about TEA's growth since then.
Yeah. So TEA is really looking at how we diversify, how we create interesting partnerships and interesting, again, collaboration. So we've gotten more diverse. Our membership is growing just from 2024 to 2025. And we've grown by over 15%, which is amazing.
It's good. Yeah.
A huge news is that we moved one of our biggest signature programs, which is our Inspire program, and our Thea's Gala for the very first time is going to be delivered here in Orlando.
Oh, that's fantastic. In the spring.
The spring, yeah. April 29th through May 2nd here at the JW Marriott Grand Lakes. This is the first time in 32 years that this program has ever left LA and gone to even a different location. So just seeing that growth of the industry, not the Hollywood still being where the legacy is and where the industry started, but Orlando really coming a new epicenter of themed entertainment and creation is one of the things we really want to celebrate. And you can see that really happening within the industry. So we're excited about that event and excited about being able to hopefully make the program more accessible to some that might not have been able to attend in the past.
Definitely. Well, I mean, we have a lot of schools here too that support the industry, a lot of feeder schools for Falcons and other companies that are in themed entertainment. And I'm wondering if you've seen an uptick in TEA Next Gen because of all those programs that are offered at the university level.
It's 100% our single most important and growing membership category that we have is Next Gen. I will tell you, we have over 900 students as part of the TEA within Next Gen, and we have 55 university clubs around the world, all supporting TEA Next Gen initiatives. That's incredible.
That's a lot.
It's incredible. And it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
It is growing every year. New clubs come online. And they are within feeder schools like SCAD or UCF or UF, but also in engineering schools.
Yes.
Huge developments happening there where engineering schools are talking about creative careers where they can come into the themed entertainment industry. We spend a lot of time trying to educate people about what we represent and who we are. And obviously university relationships and the impact of Next Gen continues to be our biggest growth opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I can see how it's a big deal. Well, let's go a little bit younger at the high school age. Are you connecting with those groups around the world?
I'll tell you, that is where we need to do better. And I'll make this a call to action to everybody listening to this. Go out into the high schools. Actually, you can even start in middle schools or elementary schools. A lot of kids don't know these careers even exist.
Yeah.
And how we gain access and how we talk about it is so important. The welders, the carpenters, the scenic painters, the ones that actually do the build, the fabrication, the electricians, the plumbers, trades matter. And without the trades and without the apprenticeship of learning how to do these types of creative works, we really need to make sure that this remains a sustainable industry. And it starts in high schools. So if this is something you're interested in, you want to go into your local high schools, this is a grassroots effort. Reach out to the TEA. We can give you a slide deck that talks about these opportunities that exist. And we would love to hear those stories of when you've gone into the school. If you inspire one student, you've made a difference.
Yeah.
And these opportunities exist in a very broad discipline level.
Yeah. And those are great jobs to have, and they're not going to go anywhere.
No, they're amazing, and they're hard. They're incredibly hard, but you can design a beautiful piece of paper. But if you don't have the welder doing the welding or the carpenter doing the custom millwork or your scenic painter going and bringing really that personality and that flair and that authenticity to it, it remains just a piece of paper with a beautiful design.
Yeah.
So how we bring those trades back into the industry and celebrate that work for everything that it deserves is really a core focus for me personally a little bit, but also for the industry.
Yeah, I could tell you have a real passion for that.
Yeah, those guys are magicians. What they're able to do is pretty incredible. And, if you don't have electricity, if you don't have plumbing, well, guess what? It's probably not a great experience. So.
No, you're not going to have a place.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the industry a little bit. Switching gears, Universal and Disney both announced new parks last year in 2025. The first Disney theme park in the Middle East is going to open in Abu Dhabi a few years from now. And Universal will establish their first footprint in Europe near Bedford, England. They could both open in the same year. I read in early 2030s-ish. I mean, you never know, timeline-wise, but what makes those locations appealing to Disney and Universal?
Well, as you look at the industry as a whole, the audiences, our guests are becoming more educated, more knowledgeable. They know what they like, they know what they don't, and they have very, very high expectations. Let's talk first about the Middle East. The Middle East is an amazing destination. So it makes sense for a brand like Disney to want to diversify a portfolio there.
Yeah. They
have a lot of opportunity for potentially becoming one of the most technologically advanced parks in the world, which would be really interesting to watch. But they also have a demographic or visitorship that makes a lot of sense for Disney. When you look at the Universal UK, it's a bold move. It's amazing. But it also tells you that they are looking at where visitors are going, what the opportunity is, leveraging a totally different type of vendor base that they haven't been able to tap into before.
Yeah.
With the focus on how they use local vendors, both in the UK and around Europe. Creating experiences, both Disney and Universal, that are unique to the regions that they're going into, allowing them to have hopefully a little bit of fun with their IP portfolio.
Yeah.
And playing with characters or stories that might resonate really well when you go into a different geographic region of the world.
Well, you know what? I think the Universal Park in England, speaking of IPs, pretty sure Harry Potter would do well there. If they're going to open a Potterland, I'm guessing they will.
I don't know. I don't have any purview into what lands are going to happen, but I would guess being the home of Harry Potter, I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
to me.
right?
It'd be really fun to watch. And I think, talk about authentic, right? It would be really, really interesting.
Yeah. So outside of the big players, what success stories did TEA members create in 2025?
Yeah, that's a great question. I had a chance to go to Japan and visit with Ghibli Park, which is all around the stories that Studio Ghibli delivers, and going into the places where these characters live and they work and they play in a really interesting type of delivery model. So seeing things like Ghibli Park, and if you don't know what Ghibli Park is, I would definitely recommend checking it out because it's pretty immersive. No photos are allowed in there.
Oh, no.
Because they actually want you to completely immerse into the story, which is really interesting.
Do they take your phone?
They don't take your phone, but the thing about the Japanese is you tell them the rule and they're like, yes, no problem. And everybody follows it. They respect it. So that was a fun moment for me to go and experience. I know it's the Universal, but seeing the delivery of Horrors Unleashed in Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
The year-round horrors experience that Universal opened up just this past year. I was fortunate to go for the pre-opening, and then I just went back last month with my 17-year-old son and did it again, and it's terrifying.
Oh, yeah?
It's terrifying. And for my 17-year-old who goes to horror nights here in Orlando probably about 30 times a season, his feedback was, wow, that was scary. I didn't know Universal had that in them. So definitely go check it out because it's a different way to deliver horror, which is really, really fascinating.
Maybe the rules are different there because Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando it used to be a lot more frightening.
Yeah.
But like the scare actors, they can't get as close and there's certain restrictions now.
Well, I think what's interesting about what Horrors Unleashed is doing, which is, haunts or seasonal attractions are really, really hot right now in the industry. And so especially haunts. And when I look at what Horrors Unleashed is doing in particular, they bring you in as a single group. So it's not this line that's following you through the maze. You get to experience each room and each scare almost independently.
Okay.
Which, if anybody knows anything about me, I'm the biggest wimp in the world. So I only made it through 2 of the 4 houses before I tapped out.
What?
But it was great. It was great. Definitely go check it out and go see it because it's really terrifying. And then the other big wins that we're seeing is around IPs really being able to be implemented into location-based entertainment. So also in Vegas, I got to see the John Wick experience with Lionsgate and totally got immersed into the story. And I'll be honest, I've never seen the John Wick movies. Sorry. But I felt like I understood where it was happening. I felt a part of it. I felt the energy of it. And my son, who has seen them all, was blown away.
Yeah.
I think as you look at IPs or brands, I see those being huge, huge wins across the world in the industry over the last year.
Well, if they do a good job, you don't have to be familiar with the IP.
And that's exactly the point with John Wick, right?
Yeah.
I kind of know the basis of it. But wow, I'm on the way home from my trip. What do you think I was watching on my Delta Airlines?
Were you watching John Wick?
I was watching John Wick. So now I do know the movie. But yeah, it definitely connected me back to that brand.
Yeah, it just maybe adds a layer of appreciation if you've seen it.
100%.
Yeah. Well, you must attend a lot of TEA mixers and events and stuff like that. So tell us what you hear at those. What are some of the common themes at these gatherings? And what do members say about maybe some challenges they're tackling now?
Yeah, so Common Themes is all about connection. People love to connect with each other. The unique thing about the TEA and our community is a lot of our community is reciprocal to each other, meaning it's not just an owner-vendor relationship. Suppliers and vendors, we all work really inherently together. So it's all about, what are you doing? What are you working on? How can we collaborate? How can we make the experience even better? So challenges are global, right? We're underneath an inflation moment where economic pressures continue to challenge everybody. So where you spend your money, how you spend your money, what you invest your time and your resources into become more constricted, and more ROI really matters right now.
Yes.
Tracking ROI really matters. Geopolitical environment around the world affecting everybody in every location is obviously a factor, right? People are waiting to see, should they invest? How much should they invest? Where do you take your risk? So watching what others are doing, usually guided by some of the larger operators. How are they responding?
So do the smaller operators take their cues from larger operators?
I think they look at that as a benchmark, right? So where are we investing? Should we be? Are you risky? Are you edgy? Are you conservative? Understanding that high quality is mattering more and more.
Definitely.
One of the reasons, IAAPA and TEAs come together is looking at global calendars. So IAAPA and TEA are partnering up around their IAAPA Expo Middle East that's happening in Abu Dhabi in early April, and TEA's Say EME program, which is happening in Dubai, and said, hey, we're going to be in Dubai, you're going to be in Abu Dhabi. Why don't we just pair these two conferences adjacent to each other?
Nice.
Where TA can be the creative pre-expo workshop, where you go to have thought leadership and education sessions specifically around this, and then have everybody go down to the expo in Abu Dhabi immediately following that. So instead of 2 trips over 2 weeks, maybe it's just 1 trip over a 7-day period.
Yeah. Get some bang for your buck.
Well, and really understanding that people take those investments seriously.
Yes.
And how do we help? How do we collaborate? How do we be better about where we make decisions and how we can help support those efforts?
Yeah. So you said SATE, that's SATE. What does that stand for?
Yeah, SATE, so storytelling plus architecture plus technology equals experience. They're one of our signature programs. We do 3 a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do 1 in North America, usually in fall, so October timeframe. Last year was at Knott's Berry Farm. This year
nice.
has not been announced yet, but will be soon. We do 1 in the Europe, Middle East region. So this one will be in Dubai for the first time ever, March 25th. And then we do Say APAC. Say APAC last year was actually in New Zealand, which was so cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, super cool. Got to go see Hobbiton and Weta Workshop and so many amazing things. We really try to pick destinations that have a story to tell, creating content that's relevant to that geographic region and about the work and opportunity that exists there. So they're great programs. They really want to explore opportunities of what those regions of the world are all about, not just what they've done, but really where the innovation and the trends are going for each of those destinations.
That's great. So I wanted to ask, it's more of a personal question.
Okay.
But what do you personally love about the themed entertainment industry?
We work in truly the most creative and innovative industry in the world. And we impact more people by what we do and what we deliver than most industries even understand. And I love that side of it. I love the people connection side. And I love the human side. These are real people. They have families. They're juggling work and life and balance and partners and spouses and kids. And this is the human side of our business. And I love that. I absolutely love how accessible everybody is, how open, how much everybody just wants to do something cool, and how they want to work with the people they enjoy. And that makes this the best industry in the world.
Yeah, well, we have to be innovative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So TEA hosted an event at Epic Universe.
We did.
Right? During IAAPA week.
Yep.
I heard it was well attended. People had a good time. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So we were able to host our international mixer at Epic Universe's Isle of Burke. It was kind of twofold. One, it was an opportunity for us to really showcase the park and that land. But most importantly, it was also when we made the announcement of our 32nd annual Thea Award recipients for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to gather everybody together into the Untrainable Dragons Theater and make the grand announcement of who the recipients were going to be that we're celebrating this spring in Orlando.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity to really spotlight and champion some of the vendor community that delivered the Isle of Burke.
Mm-hmm.
One of the unique things that TEA does is we take our credits list really seriously. So Universal was great in allowing us to highlight and partner with some of the vendor community that delivered Isle of Burke and give them that recognition.
You mentioned Isle of Burke. That is one of 4 Thea Awards.
It
is.
yeah.
That Universal Epic Universe won. And the Thea Awards is really our industry's Oscars.
It really is. Yeah.
That's a big deal to get that many in 1 year.
It's unprecedented.
Is it?
Yeah. So Epic Universe, obviously a theme park on that scale is quite substantial. And to win and be recognized for not only Isle of Burke for the land overall, but then the Ministry of Magic, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and then the Monsters Unchained attraction. It is really spectacular for us to be able to celebrate. And then the park overall, the entirety of the park was something that we really wanted to make sure we were celebrating. We're
fun.
excited. We're going to announce an Inspire the Night where we go back to Epic Universe and more details to come about what lands we're going to get to go into. We're going to make Inspire the Night open to our TEA community. So you can bring your teams, you can bring your families, you can make this something that you can celebrate together and make the price point accessible for companies to be able to do that and to celebrate the success together, because we get so wrapped up into what's next that we sometimes forget to just slow down and say, wow, we delivered something pretty incredible here.
Well, Melissa, it was very nice to have you here. It was good to see you again.
It was great seeing you guys. It's always great to come and visit with the FALCON'S team. And thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, we'll see you soon. We'll keep in touch.
Well, hopefully we'll see you in April at the Inspire and Thea Gala.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure a lot of us will be there, and the next mixer and all of that.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate it. And really, the TEA is accessible. So if you need anything, if you have a question, please feel free always reach out, get engaged. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you connect and collaborate and all the great things. And most importantly, we're here to have fun. So
for sure.
That's an energy TEA exists within all the time. So we appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you. And what's the website?
TEAconnect.org. And if you have any questions or need to reach out, member services at teaconnect.org goes directly to me.
That's wonderful. All right, Melissa. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Audrey.
And now it's time for our lightning round, where I have a quick conversation with one of our Falcons. I'm here with Ashley Williams, associate producer. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Audrey.
Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. You don't know any of these questions ahead of time, yes?
I do not.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
What is your favorite theme park ride of all time?
Oh, okay. That's difficult. One is Spaceship Earth, actually.
No
I love
way.
Spaceship Earth. Big fan.
Okay.
And second one is The Mummy.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally different rides.
Very different rides.
Okay.
They scratch different itches. I love those.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. If you weren't working in the themed entertainment industry, what would you be doing to earn a living?
I think I would probably be either like a librarian or like a teacher. I always loved I was like an English class nerd, and I used to volunteer in my local library. I liked working with kids and like children's literature. So I'd probably be doing something like that.
Okay. Did you cheat? Because one of my questions leads into this.
No, I didn't. I promise.
Okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
Oh. Well, it was partially English, but also history. I really liked English and history. I was like really into those because I couldn't do math or science very well. So
no, same. No, speaking of cheating, no, we won't go there. All right. In what city would you most like to live?
I think I could see myself in, I don't know, somewhere out west in the mountainy, like Denver or somewhere in Colorado, or maybe like North Carolina, or like.
You're in the wrong state.
I know, but I'm a Florida-born person, so I'm also very happy here.
Okay, well that's good. We like having you here, so don't move yet. All right, what's your favorite dessert?
Oh yeah, it's mint chocolate chip ice cream for
Ooh,
sure. Yeah,
good one.
Yeah, it's my absolute favorite.
All right, here's a final question for you.
Okay.
In your opinion, what is the cutest animal on Earth?
Oh my God, this is an impossible question. But maybe because I'm such a Floridian, I think it's the manatee.
Oh, that's a good one.
They're adorable. I'm obsessed with them.
Okay. Well, Ashley, thank you.
Thank you so much, Audrey.
That wraps up this episode of Experience Imagination. I want to thank my wonderful guests again, Jakob Wahl and Melissa Oviedo, for those really insightful conversations. And thanks to Ashley Williams for participating in our lightning round. We'll see you soon for an all-new episode. Thank you for listening to Experience Imagination, a FALCON'S Creative Group production. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. Be sure to check out falconscreativegroup.com and follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you have ideas for future episodes or just want to drop us a message, send an email to podcast@falconscreativegroup.com.